And it's interesting that the word Tehiru Ilah has the same numerology as Shemo, his name. We've got him and his name. There's already the potential of externality. And we, the idea of the name is something which is on the one hand internal to each person, but then on the other hand, it's external. Because the name of a person is not the same for everyone. Other people could have my name, but they're different than me. And everyone is different than everyone else. Because the essence of the person is connected to the name, but it's still separate from the name itself. The name indicates about the person, but it's not the person. So the idea of the name, and we're going to be discussing this more in our next classes, really in greater depth, that the idea of the name, where we talk about the names of God, the divine names, etc., there's the internal name of God, the essential name of God, and that is the tetragrammaton, Yud Kei Vav Kei. But then there's the other names of God, which those names of God, the 7 names of God. And now there's 4 analogies of the Rishimu. Okay, so the 4 analogies are as follows. And this is actually referring to the 4 analogies which have to do with really the 4 spiritual worlds in a sense. These are very exact analogies brought in Chassidus. So the first analogy of the Rishimu is the teacher-student imparting condensed words, which, as the Mishnah says, hold much, which hold a lot, which means like as follows. It means that when you have a teacher that knows a tremendous amount of information, and then they're trying to impart it to a student, to a young student, or someone who's not knowledgeable in whatever it is that they're discussing. So then it's very important for the teacher to not, mix too many ideas all at once, because they're going to get the student confused. So what do they have to do? They have to take away their knowledge in a sense, right? They have to condense their knowledge, and they have to just bring a number of words, like a sentence, and just bring it down like that. And then the student has what to work with. It's not yet the same level, the extent of the knowledge of the teacher at all, but it's condensed knowledge. But that condensed knowledge holds within it is basically everything. So in this analogy, the analogy of the Rishimu is that there's the infinite light of the Creator. Now, for that light now has to go, because there can't be a student, so to speak, right? There can't be an other. There can't be finite if there's just infinite. If there's just this incredible brilliance, knowledge in this analogy of the teacher, and the point of the analogy, the Creator, that is just imparting infinite light, right? And there's nothing else. So then there can't be anything else. So there needs to be the removal of that light. And then there needs to be a finite amount of information, which is placed within that space. Does that make sense? Right? So that's the first analogy. The second analogy is the idea of a blueprint of an architecture. That in order for the house to be built as desired, with everything that the person wants to build in their house, they need to go to an architecture, and the architecture is going to draw for them the blueprint. And in that blueprint, they have everything that's going to be built. And that's the analogy of the Rishimu. The Rishimu it's not yet what's built, and it's a condensed level but everything there is in potential. In our up in our class on the kav, which is the string, the divine string of light, we're going to talk about how the light actually washed through the Rishimu, and it's all about the revelation. So too, it's about building, right? So it's not just about having a blueprint, it's about making the blueprint happen. But there's a phase for everything. And the first phase is actually the architectural designs of the blueprint.